Hello and welcome to Advantexe Late Night. Tonight we're talking about Advantexe's best practices simulation platform. I thought the best way for you to fully understand a best practices simulation was to invite some of the characters from a simulation to the show. So let's get started by meeting two of the dozens of characters that Advantexe has personified as part of this award-winning platform. First is Ellen Astor. Ellen is a character in a simulation called The Fundamentals of Business Leadership. Ellen has an influencer personality. Her work on her team is strong. She gets things done, but she has several challenges working with the team and interacting on an interpersonal level.
Hello. I wouldn't say I have any challenges working with the team. I would say the team has issues getting things done the right way.
Now let's meet Theo Harrington. Theo also plays a role in the Fundamentals of Business Leadership simulation. He is a talented software design engineer on the same cross-functional team as Ellen. Theo is creative and likes to set his own work schedule, preferring to be known as the Night Owl. Theo is respectful of his colleagues and goes out of his way to avoid conflict.
When do I get to put my Night Owl costume on?
Ellen, Theo, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks. Pleasure to be here.
So let me get this right. The two of you play roles in a best practices business simulation that Advantexe has developed. For the audience that do not know, can you explain what a best practice simulation is?
Oh, sure. Happy to. These simulations allow participants to learn the best practice behaviors related to a specific process or set of competencies.
The simulations are basically interactive learning tools that can be used in live classroom and online virtual solutions by having participants work by themselves or as part of a virtual online team.
This sounds interesting, but how does the simulation actually work?
The simulation works by having learners weave through a storyline, making decisions, reacting to events, and interacting with virtual colleagues and employees, like Ellen and I.
Right. Learners must think about and ultimately decide upon the best practice course of action given a particular scenario, skill, or competency being focused on in the simulation.
Ah, thus the term best practice.
Exactly. The simulation contains a storyline that branches and evolves based on the participants' responses to decisions to the simulation. The simulation outcomes are not predetermined. Instead, performance is based on the decisions and actions of participants.
The simulation serves as the bridge between learning and real life. Learners are able to explore new behaviors and make bold business decisions in a risk-free environment, giving them the confidence to do the same thing back on the job. Would anyone like to see a clip of a scenario?
Want to set it up?
The scene we are about to see is a situation where Theo and I are engaged in a conflict in a conference room regarding the process for meeting room sign-ups, which Theo rarely follows.
Hey, come on, I forget.
After the scene is completed, the learner then has to decide on a course of action regarding how to provide feedback for Theo and I on how we handled the situation.
Do you have this conference room scheduled? Do you really think you could just come in here without reserving it?
Ellen?
I booked this conference room 2 weeks ago. I bet you were about to tell me that you're on a call with a customer.
Well, actually...
Theo? It sounds like you have an issue there. How about if you call me back when you find a conference room?
This is a tough situation. Both Ellen and Theo obviously made some mistakes here and need some feedback. So audience, what would you do? Tweet us your response. @Command Central tweeted answer B. Let's see what happens. You decide to rephrase your feedback. You say to Ellen, "You really raised your voice with Theo. I heard you from all the way down the hall before walking past the conference room. I also saw you point your finger at Theo." It looks like she's considering what you've said and thinking about your feedback. Great stuff! I like how the scenario played out. But what if someone doesn't understand some of the concepts in the simulation?
One of the unique aspects of our best practices simulations is that Advantexe has built-in on-demand learning content called Digging Deepers. Digging Deepers are short, embedded 1 to 2 minute video content tutorials that review the material.
So it's great that learners go through the simulation and test ideas and learn by doing. But how do learners measure effectiveness?
Good question. At the end of the simulation, participants receive a numerical score for each of the metrics that matter most to the client's organization.
They also receive direct feedback on their choices that identifies and explains the learning objectives and best practices for that scenario.
When delivered in a classroom, a simulation facilitator leads a discussion about the choices they made and how to apply these best practices to their jobs.
Advantexe has also created an analytics center as part of the platform. The analytic reports review simulation results and provides insight into performance and areas where additional learning may be needed.
Well, we're running out of time. Before we sign off, is there anything else the viewers need to know?
Yeah, one more thing. Advantexe has created a reinforcement tool called Practium.
Practium is a mobile learning tool that allows learners to post responses to real-world scenarios via video to a cloud and then share these role-play responses with peers and experts for feedback and self-reflection.
Nice. I'd like to learn more about that one if we had more time. Can you come back and share more with us?
Yes, would love to.
Ellen, Theo, thanks for your time today. Where can our audience learn more?
If you would like to learn more, feel free to contact us at jim.brodo@advantexe.com or 610-828-8707.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.